Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. I hope everyone is doing well today. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, good to have you back. Hope everyone is doing great. Today's channel message is from a few people from a collective. And as always, these messages will be received in divine timing. So when you receive them is when you're meant to hear them. As I said prior, these messages are from a collective. They're from uh, Mother Mary, the Virgin Mary, Quan Yin, Goddess Diana, and the Mother Gaia. Now, all these deities represent mothers, humanity, compassion. Whoever I'm speaking to today has been recently given an opportunity to show compassion. And unfortunately, some old ways have returned. There was a situation where you had an ability to show compassion to a stranger on the street or a family member or a friend that you don't always disagree, that you don't always agree with. And it's okay to disagree, but learning to disagree with compassion is what's so desperately needed in today's world with us and each other. And there's no better example of that than through the three female deities I just mentioned. We can learn compassion through them, compassion for ourselves and compassion for others. Recently, I've had the opportunity, for an example, to speak with some people who have opposing views from myself. This is difficult for me because, to me, some situations are just black and white. I know there's a lot of gray out there, but unfortunately, this particular situation is very sensitive and very black and white for me. Uh, Particularly, politically, and I don't want to make this political, and I always say that because this is not about politics. This is about right and wrong. And when certain people are advocating harm uh, towards a certain group of people or a dislike towards a certain group of people who are different from themselves, it touches a nerve with me. And I had to learn how to be able to communicate myself uh, in a more gentle and more receptive manner to get those who might conflict with my ideas to understand where I'm coming from and why they might be incorrect in their thought process. A lot of it, unfortunately, for these people is learned. It's learned through their religious leaders, it's learned through their political leaders, and they've somehow become embrazen and emboldened to spew hate, towards many different groups of people. And again, this is very, very difficult for me. So I often ask for the compassion from, you know, Goddess Diana, from Mother Mary, from Quan Yin, from Mother Gaia. I ask for their assistance when I communicate with these people, and I ask for them to ensure that I will be able to communicate in a way that these people will be receptive, hear, and understand, and possibly, with the hope of changing their mindset. Now, I understand that's not always going to happen, and it's not going to be easy. But interestingly enough, going back to the situation that I was mentioning, I was able to change the minds and hearts of these individuals, and I was able to show them in a different way how their thought process was incorrect. And I realized they themselves weren't even realize they weren't aware of their own behavior. They just weren't aware of how foul and how godlike, let's say, their behavior is. And many of these people claim to be Christian, and they were just so blinded by what they were being told, as opposed to thinking for themselves, which isn't their fault yet again. It is and it isn't. They're adults and they're responsible for themselves, but you have to understand when certain people are indoctrinated by certain religious groups or certain political groups to believe one way, They just automatically believe it without question because they're told not to question. So it's up to those who know better, okay, to help them, to help guide them to a more spiritual, enlightened existence by giving them the truth without becoming angry. Years ago, my first reaction would have been to become angry. And I realized that, that wasn't always the best response because all that does is create more anger on both sides. And then no one is listening. So, again, this message is for uh, those who have been recently placed in this situation, either with family members or with even a stranger on the street, where you had the opportunity to express your viewpoint in a spiritual manner, to express your viewpoint with compassion as opposed to anger. Now, as I said, it is difficult. This is a difficult process to learn, but it's not impossible. It can be done. And there's no judgment on this. And I have faith that, we all make mistakes. And this is how we learn. We learn from each other. We learn through communicating with the deities, asking for assistance, especially when we need help in a certain area of our life. They're always going to be there and available for us if we choose to ask them. Spiritual law dictates that we must ask if we want a response, and that's due to free will. Now, like myself, they're not here to impose themselves on anyone. This is free will for everyone. So you can either choose to listen or you can choose to shut off the video. It's up to you. Again, there's no judgment about that. Nobody's being forced to do anything they don't want to do. But I do believe that whoever I'm speaking to wants to make their changes. Okay? They want to be able to be more receptive and learn how to respond without anger. And this is why this message is selected for you. It's being channeled for you. This is for those who want to make change but are unaware of how to do it. And the first step is asking for help. And I have faith that all of you out there can do this. Nothing is impossible in this world. Nothing. We've all been given special talents and special gifts and the ability to express ourselves. Unfortunately, a lot of us weren't taught the ability to express ourselves in an appropriate manner, whether it be from family, upbringing, environment, what have you. And I include myself in that. I didn't always know the best way to communicate. I wasn't always the best at it. And I think that's why I became a counselor, not only because of my love of wanting to help people, but to learn how to express myself other than how I was taught to express myself. To express myself in a way where I can be heard and be respected at the same time. Because getting angry and answering in a way that is inappropriate only makes us, lose self respect and the respect of others. And it also shuts the other person off from listening. So you can do this. I have faith in you. And the divine realms wants you to know that they have faith in you as well. And they're here to guide you. Call upon the mothers. I will be placing the bonus material for these messages that correspond uh, with the small recap of what I just communicated to you. And you can decide for yourself if you feel like taking a look uh, to learn, how to communicate with these deities and how to effectively get a response and change yourself through them if you're willing to change. Again, it's up to you. You have free will, it's your choice. I want to thank everyone for being here. I appreciate all of you, especially the collective. I hope everyone is doing well, and we will see you again soon. Take care.